Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Parlor. I'm going to introduce you to my new favorite hyphenate. And I mean, she got hyphens forever. Singer, songwriter, producer, educator, content creator, Vegas weather person. Seids does it all, and that's who you're meeting. Somebody who has rewritten the rules of how you play in today's media world. Please welcome to the show, and so happy to have her. Here's Seids. Hey there.
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Thank you so much.
The good part is all true.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What you don't know is that we recently at the NAMM convention, our panels were back to back. And we did our thing and we had really cool people on and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden the storm came in after we were done. I was like, what the hell is happening? And it was Seids and people coming to see what she does, the place packed out, and it was really, really, really incredible. If you're somebody who wants to be in music, learn about content creation, learn the discipline of what it takes, you're going to hear it now. Speaking of discipline, you post things and do something every day on every platform, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. I've gone through phases where I've gone harder and less harder at times. Like when I first started, I was posting 3 to 5 times a day on TikTok.
Wow.
And now I've spread things out. But yeah, I post 2 times a week a long form video on YouTube. I post nearly every day on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And whenever there's something new popping up, I try to go there because wherever the audience is, I want to tap into it, right? It's marketing. So
yeah, it is.
Into the people.
And what a lot of people don't understand, Seids, which you can share, and I too, from our perspective, is that beyond just the content, it's just work. Like it's work to do that. You have to come up with ideas that you're going to create and then post and make them relevant, make them good, stay within your brand standards. Is all that true?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's helped building a strategy, and I don't just post willy-nilly. Like every single thing I do, I post for a plan.
You're intentional.
It does make it a little bit easier when I'm like creating content and creating everything about that and like my schedule. And basically my plan stems from what I want to do, which I think a lot of musicians, they think they want to do a lot of things, and they might want to do all those things, but they can't just like focus and buckle down on like the one thing and really go and work backwards. Okay, like let's say I want to play Coachella. What are the steps I actually have to take to get there? And so I really just tried to think about social media and like content and this work as like baby steps, and then it's like a little bit less overwhelming, but also part of a plan, so it's not just like so overwhelming that I'm like throwing things at the wall and nothing is sticking, because once you have a strategy, you can start like playing darts and you're just throwing things until you land on the bullseye. So a lot of people don't like to do that work for a long time because the problem is it's a very slow process. I don't post to go viral. I don't post for to be famous. I post for my fans and for my clients, but I'm focusing on like one fan a day. Like it's a small number. And I'm always focused on like who sees my content instead of how many people see my content. And it's not as like glamorous and validating each day as people want it to be. So I think that's where the work comes into. It's almost like a mental mindset game. Like it's a mental challenge.
Absolutely. Well, on the Parlor, I always want it to be a place where you can come learn something and also meet people. And part of what's so interesting about what you're saying because I want to go and establish what it is you do that's become popular. But for the audience, understand this. What she just described is what you have to do in business in general and really in the music business. You need to be intentional. You need to have strategy. You need to know why you're doing it. and you have to be pure about it because people recognize when it's false. You know, the greatest song touches you, the greatest content touches you. And when you don't do it for those reasons, you may have something happen, but it won't be as good. So if you want the things like Seids has done, or even we've done, or even when I created Pensado's Place in the past, it's because we came from the heart in a way that made it, but we thought about it and we thought about how it would touch you and what you may need and all that kind of stuff. That is a lesson for musicians, business people, all things. Our music business is very entrepreneurial. It's hard for you not to be, if you're in the music business, you're going to have some entrepreneurial aspects to it. So there's the lesson part. Sides, what is it that you do in the beginning that became so popular, and where did the idea come from?
So for me, what I do now for work, and obviously like this has changed over the years, but COVID really kind of like sat me down. All of my singing gigs got canceled. I was meant to go on cruise ships with a girl group that I built, and like we were meant to be guest entertainers. So obviously it was really disappointing, as many things are in the music industry. um Usually it's, not getting the job or whatever. It wasn't a global illness that caused the thing, but this time it was. So you have to always kind of reinvent yourself and think on your toes and not give up. So I took that time to really soul search and think about what is it that I really wanted to do. And for me, my favorite part is creating. I love creating music. I love creating content. I love creating products. I just love the creating aspect. And I don't necessarily love, even though I was good at performing and it was fun to perform, that's not necessarily, I loved being on the stage, but I hated getting to the gigs and I hated wearing makeup and I hated dealing with like the drunk people. So then I was like, okay, with that soul searching, I figured out what I really want to do is work with music tech companies because I can create content. With them, and it's kind of like a loophole because I'm able to create my own music, whatever music I want to make, without worrying about how many people listen to it. And even though that original song isn't going to make a lot of money, the video itself will make money with my song because they need my song to demo the products. So I'm like, oh my God, this is such an amazing loophole. I can work with music tech companies. And like since then, I've worked with over 60 music tech companies. I get to work from home. I make more money than I would have made on any gig with these videos. So, and also not just videos. I've done sample packs. I've done sample packs for Splice and BandLab. I've also done teaching classes for these companies because these companies, they need people to learn how to use their products in order to do that. And, I get a fair amount of hate, as most people do on the internet. I'm sure you've been exposed to that yourself. But the thing is, I don't let it bother me because, the hate they say is like, oh, you're not a real musician, you're not a real music creator, you're not that. But it's like, how am I supposed to talk about all of these things if I'm not a musician? So it's like you just have to kind of let your ego and let the ideas of what you think a musician are and really tap into what is it that you want. And now I'm living like my dream life because I've created this job around what I really like doing, which is creating. So this isn't for everybody, by the way, but this is great for me.
No, you so elegantly put it. The corollary for us, and it's where we share DNA, is the idea of me becoming what this has become came out of a medical incident where I wanted to help a friend, and I ended up being looped into it because I sort of was better at it than him, didn't know what I was doing, but didn't let that stop me. And I was like, well, let me dream about what would this really, how would I make this work? And for my drive, which is similar to yours, I wanted music to appeal to the person who was not musical. Like, how could I explain what happens so that you, Mr. Regular guy, goes or girl goes, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know music could do that. And once you find that chord, what's fascinating is the response you get is so passionate, both from those who love it and even the haters. And so I taught my staff, the haters are a good thing. That means they're watching, they're listening,
Yeah.
and the hate is mostly jealousy.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is that if you're not getting haters, you're not like successful
Uh-huh.
because when you get pushed out into new audiences, you're going to get new love and you're
Yeah.
going to get new hate, and
That's
that's just part of it. And if you're true to yourself, you're 100% going to get hate because nobody is going to agree with anyone. I mean, like, who's like the most beloved man by many? Jesus. If he came on earth and said something, there would be people that would disagree with him and there'd be people that agree with him, you know? Like it's just never unanimous, and you just have to accept that that's part of the job. And like you said, it's a metric of success. But it is hard when you're like a sensitive, flower like me.
yeah. Well, that's the other part for our audience that I think is really important to understand. Seids content creation and what we do at the Parlor can be similar or metaphoric to your music. And so when you put your music out and you get a mixture of things back, don't let any of that defeat you. Don't let the love coming back make you think that you're perfect, and don't let the hate make you think that you're terrible. That's just the environment that we're in. You have to find your true North Star and then go deal with it and go down that path until you decide something different. So a lot of what we're talking about here is independence and being forthright to stand in your own sort of shoes and do your thing. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I really believe that that's where like the true fans come, right? And we have this whole conversation about AI and this and that, and I don't think AI is going to replace anybody that has true fans. And the people that have true fans are the people that are true to themselves. They like for me, when I build my strategy, this is essentially it. I say, what do I want to do? What's my mission statement? And that's where you become true, right? Your mission statement is your selfless commitment to your audience, fans or clients, right? So what is that? And then who are the people that support that goal? How are they going to support you, right? And so when you kind of figure out this strategy, then it all like comes into play. And you're gonna get haters along the way because, for instance, my mission is to make music production and entrepreneurship more accessible to more people. So with that being said, every single thing I do aligns with that mission, right? Every brand I work with, every product I sell, every choice I make falls into that. So if an AI company reaches out to me and I like what they're doing and they're doing ethical I am going to post about it, and I get a lot of hate for that. But I'm like, at the end of the day, whatever you want to say about AI, it is making it more accessible for more people to make music.
That's right.
I wouldn't post about $60,000, speakers because that is not accessible. I'm not going to post about, fashion wear or gym stuff, or you wouldn't believe the things I get. I've gotten tequila, brain pills, CBD gummies, that's when you start becoming a sellout, right?
Right.
But if everything you do aligns with your mission, and maybe your mission is different. Maybe your mission is you hate AI and you want to take AI down. And so then your whole thing would be different. And there'd be people that would agree with you and there'd be people that disagree with you. But the people that agree with you, like, love you.
Yes.
They love you more than the people that hate you because you were honest to yourself, you were honest to your mission, and it was something that was important to you. So if it's important to you, it's likely it's important to other people as well.
No, it's almost prescient what you're saying. Audience, you're looking at two people who we had started our stuff way before COVID, but COVID actually changed our game plan. And I remember meeting with my team. Our team's very small. It's 3 or 4 people. It's run mostly by women, which I love because they bring a special thing to it. And I said, this is an opportunity. We want to stay healthy, but we're going to reimagine who we are, and we're going to do stuff from home, and we're going to do, and that model has carried forward. But I think the thing that's so beautiful about what you do is it's a template for your independence. It's a template for musicians. It's a template for education. It's a template for courage at a time when there's a whole lot of stuff going mad. And here's also the real deal, because I'm very candid about this part. I want you, audience, to make a living. And you have to figure out how that corollary is. How do I keep my purity as an artist or an educator or a teacher, and also make a living? And there are ways. You're looking at two people who have figured it out. And some of it's trial and error. I fell on my face plenty of times figuring this out, but I just was undeterred about it. So when I see you doing what you're doing and I see the reaction to it, it confirms for me how much people love being touched when it's authentic.
Definitely.
They have choices. They can choose who they want to follow or send money to or take a class from or be taught or whatever the case may be. And when they choose you, I find it tremendously validating. When people come up and go, "Oh, Herb, what school should I go to?" Or "I like your advice," or "Who can I introduce?" Or even better, our mutual friend Dave Godowski, who I think is the epitome of my kind of guy.
I love Dave.
I love Dave Godowski, and I think we had run into my right hand Max, who's starting to produce our shows. I think he had run into your roommate, and I was like, "Find Seids. We have to find Seids." So
My fiance.
your fiance, I think he said roommate. So sorry.
My roommate.
So he wasn't lying. So I called Dave Godowski and he said done, and so here we are. So the good news, beyond the fact that congratulations on your fiance and the impending nuptials, is that there are people like Sides, like Dave Godowski, like Herb Charwicks, and a number of other people who have all this going on that you can access and hopefully make your life and career better. It's a beautiful thing. When there's so much success, the future can be overwhelming. You know, when there's so many things to do, oftentimes stuff doesn't get done. What is the future for Sides? It can go any way.
Well, okay, so I'm building my stuff very slowly, as
Sure.
I said. So it's nothing rapid. It's a lot of like mundane, right? It's literally just the same kind of thing, repetition, like putting in the reps over and over again.
That's right.
But right now I'm really, I'm building Sides on the internet, obviously. And then I have a how to work with music tech companies class. It's also like a program that I'm really passionate about, like helping people be able to do this job as well, because there's so much opportunity here. And this could be good for someone that maybe doesn't even want to do this full time, but wants to do this alongside their like day job, alongside building an artist career, whatever they want to do. So I'm really passionate about that. And I'm trying to build that. I also have apprentices that work with me where I guide them and actually pay them to work with music tech companies. So they're kind of like, I'm their mentor and they're my mentee, but they're getting paid because that's something that's really important to me. And then I'm also, releasing music. That's more for fun. But that's really important to me because I'm really good at marketing and I'm really good at sales. So I could have done anything. So the whole reason I did this is so that I could still create, right? So I'm building that. So I want to keep releasing that. And then maybe one day I'll make my own music tech company where I don't know. I don't know what that would look like yet. But right now I'm just in the building stages. And, something that really stuck with me is one of these like marketing gurus who I love. I love all the marketing gurus. They're so great. And but yeah, so I think it was like Alex Hermosi posted about, who do you think has a better career? The guy that did the same thing for 40 years or the guy that had like 1,500 side hustles? And of course it was like the guy that just kind of like stuck with the same thing, right? It's just building, stacking, skill stacking and building and plumbing it out. And so that's really what I'm focusing on. I landed on something that I'm like super passionate about, and I love being able to help people. Like, yes, it's like, you're selling courses and there's this like fine dance between like you want to sell and you want to hit your sales goal. But to me, those numbers are people, right? Those are people that I'm helping. And I'm actually really, really passionate about helping them because it took me so long to find financial and creative freedom, like 10 years. And I even went to Berkeley, and it still took me so long. So the more people I can help to get there faster, that just brings me the most joy. And then while I can create and get paid to create doing that, like now I'm just like living the dream. I couldn't have even imagined a better life for myself.
It is, I think, important for the industry to see that happens. And again, sometimes I draw corollaries, not to talk about us, but when we first started, they weren't even called podcasts. and we were out in the wilderness trying to figure out what this was. And the idea that we would do something about audio was unheard of. And we found our first marker. Some kids were gathered in front of a monitor in Taipei watching us. And
That's
they were like,
amazing.
and they were like, oh my God, this Pensado's Place thing. And I remember saying to Dave, we got something here. And when I created it, I wasn't an audio person, I was a manager. But I was trying to think of something for somebody else that would be beneficial, and Dave was my part. Anyways, so these markers came through where we had no support and we didn't know what was going. And slowly but surely, as it touched people, then all these opportunities came up that you're doing. So we had the first live event. I did the first concert featuring an audio person. And people were saying that they looked like the RCA dog, you know, that dog with the head tilted. They were like, Herb, what are you talking about? I said, well, I'm going to get Beyonce's engineer, put him on stage, put the screen up, tell everybody to bring their laptops, and they can mix Beyonce's latest song with them. People came and lined up around the block and paid tickets. This was 2010.
I'm not surprised.
Long time ago. So we share the same DNA. I am a fan and pulling for you. I may hit you occasionally and say, hey, I heard about this cool thing. Just want you to know about it.
Oh,
One would be an artist named Fantastic Negrito. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I'll send you a link. It's like a modern Sly and the Family Stone. And he's an amazing tech artist thinker. Amazing, amazing talent. I'll connect those dots. Here's what we wish for you on the Parlor: that you stay our friend forever, that we will now call your roommate your fiance. So please, please tell him to not do that as roommate anymore. And I think if I can take this sort of a license, I'm just proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just proud that our industry has birthing that kind of innovation. I love when women do it. I think there's a different thing. I have a number of very talented editors who work with us, and our female editor, when she puts her eye on something, it's a whole other thing. It's just really special. So happy about that. And we're doing lots of interesting things that have educational impact and stuff I'd love to talk to you about separately. Dave Godowski is going to be involved. So we'll update you on that stuff, and we'd love to stay close to you.
Thank you so much. And I ditto. You know, like, this is an honor. Thanks for having me, and thanks for, you know, opening your eyes to new areas of the industry. Not everybody is this welcoming to people like me, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, if anybody, here's what we can do. You know, look, I'm from Montreal, but if anybody messes with you, let us know. We will roll and regulate on them so that they're not messing with our sides. There's no way.
Thank you so much.
Her name is Seids. You've got what it is, and I think we only scratched the surface. I'm going to see if we can't do some other versions and keep up with her while she does her journey. Some of our live events, we're going to see if we can't get her to them. And this is why you want to honor this business. You have to remember it's a community. There's special people in the community, and just charge ahead, stay forward, stay focused, find your North Star, and do your thing. Her name is Seids, my name's Herb Chalk, and you've been on the Parlor. Thank you.